relax and settle in for a story that just might creep under your skin.
The sky was a gentle blue, the air beginning to warm with the joyful promise of spring. Eli stood next to Mara, so close, always so close. Mara couldn't imagine anyone more perfect for her. There was not a single thing she would change about Eli. He wore a black t-shirt, a stark contrast against his pale skin. Ella's body was broad, soft, heavy, carrying the majority of his weight in all the right places. His belly curved outward, soft and warm, irresistible. Eli wrapped his arms around her. Mara leaned against him, enjoying the softness of his body, the closeness of him. Love radiated from him, and Mara soaked it all in. Mara felt beautiful, not the kind on the outside. Mara had plenty compliments for that, but on the inside, Eli saw her for everything she was, and never hesitated, never turned away. The inside of his forearms were mapped with thin white scars. Staring at them filled Mara with warmth, knowing he was hers in every way. Eli was special. This secret she shared with him alone. To say he was the first would have been a lie. To be specific, he was the third. The third she had ever shared such a level of blood-bonding intimacy with. She didn't attach easily. Eli might have not been first, but we was more perfect than even the other two. She didn't mention this to Eli, and he didn't ask. The other two were a lifetime ago, many years before she ever met Eli. Before meeting Eli, Mara had given up completely on the idea of love. Eli awakened feelings in her she had forgotten completely. Mara often questioned what she was, but with Eli it didn't matter. She belonged completely. Mara couldn't remember how it had began with Eli, but she loved that he seemed every bit as addicted to it as she was. It was pure ecstasy, a pleasure beyond anything imaginable. Yet Mara couldn't imagine what about it Eli enjoyed so much. Eli kissed her head, staring at her with that intense blue-eyed stare that made her melt entirely. He pulled the blade from his pocket, continuing to stare at her while pressing it to his forearm. The familiar anticipation of savage desire filled her completely. He pulled her in close as she pressed her soft lips to his forearm, drinking him in. The familiar warm copper taste she simply couldn't get enough of. Mara's eyes rolled over white with pleasure as she drank. Eli kissed the top of her head. There was nothing more intimate, no greater pleasure than this. When she pulled away, Eli stared at her half-lidded, gently wiping away the red running down her chin with his thumb. He leaned in, pressing his lips against hers in a gentle kiss. Mara's head swam, lost in the high of the moment. Every time didn't become less, but her desire became more. Eli, as if reading her mind, or wanting it just as much, encouraged it more, and Mara never said no. Eli cupped her face, staring deep into her eyes. "I love you so much," he said. "You're incredible," Mara said, gazing back at him. Eli bit his lip. A strange expression crossed his face. He took a few steps back, gesturing Mara to follow, and sat down, lifting his shirt. He grabbed Mara's hand, guiding her palm to the soft, warm, round swell of his stomach. He placed the hilt of his blade in her other hand, wrapping her fingers around it. "Feel that?" Eli murmured, voice low, rough, reverent. All of me is all yours, he said. Mara's mouth fell open, eyes blown wide with the intensity of the moment. Such devotion to give such an offer made her head swim. She pressed her lips to his expansive stomach, so soft, so perfect, and kissed him gently. Mara felt the weight of the knife in her hand, thought about it, but knew she could never cut into him. Something in her couldn't do it. She would happily take what he offered from his own love and devotion, but taking it herself just wasn't for her. She set the knife on the ground next to him and continued to kiss him, letting her hands roam, enjoying the round, soft perfection of his stomach. Eli picked the knife up again, holding it inches from his flesh. Wait, Mara said, your skin is so beautiful. It would be a shame to. Eli cut her off. I heal fast, and it will bleed a lot more, he said. Mara's mouth fell open. What had come over him? How could he want this so much, she wondered. Perhaps the release of endorphins, or... But who was she to question it? If this was really what he wanted. After all, was it really that much more dangerous than his arm? It honestly did seem even more intimate. She watched as he slid it slowly, carefully. A twist of emotions ran through Mara. Her pulse hammered. Concern for his safety, and the thrill of savage hunger. Her pressed her lips to his wound. It poured into her mouth faster than ever before. She drank hard, her fingers sinking into his soft flesh on both sides of her mouth, the world narrowing as her eyes rolled over white. Eli exhaled, long and low. Yes, he whispered. When Mara pulled back, blood coated her lips and chin. Eli was pale now, breath slower, eyes glassy, but content. You're pale. I always am afterward, he said easily. I like it. That night, Mara laid in bed. She couldn't help but notice lately her skin had more color. Her cheeks were rosy. So were her lips. Her eyes were brighter. Was it being in love, or maybe her thoughts drifted? It was late when she finally fell asleep. When she did, she dreamed of a tall, bone-white creature with long ears and completely black eyes. It looked like some kind of elf-demon cross. It stared right at her and said, I know what you are, but do you? I'm a monster, Mara cried. A monster takes what isn't offered. You're not a monster, but you aren't human either, it replied. What am I? Mara asked. The last of the ancient ones, the last of a quickly disappearing breed. The elf responded. So I'm all alone? Mara asked, heavy-hearted. Not alone. There are others. There is Eli, he said. He isn't bloodthirsty, Mara responded. No, his addiction is you, it said. Mara awoke wondering if it were true. She always felt in many ways inhuman, deeply misunderstood. She felt a longing so much deeper, so much more intense than any human could offer. If Eli wasn't human, that would explain the depth of their connection. Thinking of Eli made her feel warm all over. Had she really found the only other creature capable of a love so deep, more than any other life form could comprehend?
I hope you enjoyed the story. Remember to like and follow or subscribe. And I would absolutely love it if you would share this video with your friends.